Extended coverage of the explosions at the Boston Marathon from CBS News.
We now continue our coverage of this breaking story right here on Eyewitness News at 6.
And we begin with breaking news tonight. At least 2 people are dead, 23 injured after 2 explosions near the finish line at the Boston Marathon.
Investigators say the explosion was caused by a pair of bombs that went off just after 2 o'clock. A senior U.S. intelligence official says 2 more explosive devices were found near the scene and were being dismantled.
A law enforcement official says cell phone service has been shut down in the Boston area to prevent any potential remote detonations of explosives.
Boston police are now also reporting a 3rd explosion more than an hour after the first 2 at the JFK Library in East Boston. The Boston Police Commissioner says authorities are not certain that it's related to the other 2 blasts, but they are treating it as if it was.
The Pinpoint News Tracker shows you the area where the explosions took place, right near the finish line in downtown Boston.
As a result of today's event, hospitals, colleges, and major businesses are all on lockdown. Some subway service has been terminated. Cell phone service has been shut off in Boston to prevent any possible remote detonations. And the FAA has ordered a no-fly zone over a 4-mile stretch of the city.
And today's explosions rocked the city just about an hour from the Rhode Island border that was celebrating Patriots Day. Some 27,000 runners from around the globe participated in today's Boston Marathon. It's one of the premier marathons in the world.
That's right. Eyewitness News has a team of reporters live in Boston for you tonight. Let's get right to Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell, who is live in Boston near Copley Plaza with the latest.
Yeah, we're actually on Columbus Avenue, and this has sort of turned into a staging area for all of the ambulances. So we have private and public ambulances who have lined up on this street as far as I can see. And people are milling about, people who've just finished watching the marathon. I've actually found a couple of ladies who are watching one of their loved ones run this marathon. Just tell me what you heard. You were near the Prudential Center.
We were walking and we heard a big bang. We kind of turned around, looked at each other, didn't really know what it was. And then we heard a second big bang, and it seemed even closer. And then I turned around again, and everyone behind me was just running. So we didn't really know what to do. We were running too, and I thought it was a shooter. I mean, I didn't know what it was. It just sounded like something I've never heard before. So we were just scared, so we started running.
And you described it as chaos, and you just said you weren't sure what was going on. Just talk a little bit about what was going through your mind at that moment when you heard that second bang.
So we heard the second bang, and Kara turned around and she said, "Hey guys, like, people are running." And we looked, everyone was just running frantically. People were knocking over tables and chairs, and my dad was waiting at the other end of the Prudential Center. He didn't have his phone. He had just finished running the marathon, so my only thought was, what's going on down there? Like, are there shooters down there? We had no idea. People were screaming gunmen, shooters, bombs. No one knew. And I was just worried about how I was ever going to find my dad.
Yeah, so how were you able to meet up with him? I know there have been some phone problems because people are jamming phone lines. How did you end up meeting up with him?
Just luck, honestly. Like, we were really lucky. We ran to where we were supposed to meet at the California Pizza Kitchen, and I ran into the restaurant. No one down there had heard the bang, so no one had any idea. They were like, what's happening? What's happening? I couldn't even talk at that point. It was just shock. And luckily found him. He was just waiting outside. We found each other, but all the cell phones, I got separated from Kara and tried to call her, and the cell phones didn't work, so that just added a whole nother level of stress and confusion.
What was the police presence like immediately after that second explosion?
I mean, I honestly didn't even see them. I just saw faces running. I didn't see if they were runners in the marathon, if they were spectators, or if they were police. Once we got outside the building and we were waiting across the street, I saw just cop cars and ambulances and bomb squad and everything. I mean, it was actually, we were talking about how impressed we were with how quickly they got there. We still had no idea what was going on, but they definitely were there within a reasonable amount of time, and making their presence known and making sure everyone was safe.
Got it. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your story. Certainly a scary afternoon out here, but I appreciate it, and I'm glad that everybody's safe. Thank you so much. Again, we're here on Columbus Avenue, and this is sort of the staging area for all of the ambulances. All their lights and sirens have been on, but at this point, we haven't seen much movement of those ambulances. So, and we know that hospitals are not reporting a huge increase in patients. They say they're not overwhelmed at this point, so that is the good news here. But for now, live in Boston with the mobile newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.